Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today our topic is critical section problem. Before going to know about this critical section problem, let us see two programs here. In these two programs, some set of instructions are there. So program means a set of instruction, right? In these two programs, some set of instructions are there. Here, in the first program, this line indicates a set of statements, right? So under this one line also a set of statements, right? And here one statement is there here which involves the count plus plus operation here. That means increment operation is involving in this instruction, right? Similarly, in program 2, some other instructions are there before and after this instruction called a count minus minus. A decrement operation is there, right? So when you compare these two programs, in these two programs only one common variable is involved here. The common variable is count. Here in this program 1, count variable has incremented here, has been incremented, and in this program 2, count variable value decremented here. But both of the programs sharing the same data. We call it as sharing the common variable called a count variable. Now let us see what sort of problems may rise in this situation when two programs sharing the same common variable. So let us see. First of all, these two programs actually written in a high level language. High level language means C or C++ or Java. These are all called high level languages. These high level languages are completely understandable by the users or humans, okay? But our machine called computer can't understand these high level language instructions. So these high level language instructions need to be converted to machine level languages, okay? That means zeros and ones. So we have three types of languages, that is low level language, medium level language or middle level languages, and high level languages. So we should convert these instructions to machine level languages instructions first. So let us convert only these two instructions like count plus plus and count minus minus. So why should I concentrate on these two instructions only, and why don't I concentrate on remaining instructions indicated using this dash symbol? Because these instructions are not similar with the second program, okay? These instructions, these dashed lines indicates other instructions which are not similar to the second program instructions. So these are different from the first program and these are different from the second program. But this count plus plus and count minus minus only the instruction which are sharing the common variable called a count. So that is why I am concentrating on the common data here. So let us write this count plus plus using a machine level language or assembly level language instructions. So how this can be converted into assembly level language instruction? So let us see. So how it is going to be converted. So let me write like this in this assembly level language instructions. So first, the first program. So the instruction number 1, that is, in the instructions, in assembly level language instructions, we will use the mnemonics called move count, move count value to R naught, move count value to R naught. Okay. Then second instruction. What is the operation there? Increment operation. So we use INC, increment operation, increment R naught, right? R naught value will be incremented. Then third instruction is move R naught, comma, count. So here these are the three instructions. In these three instructions, first instruction is move count comma R naught. So move is a mnemonic to copy the value for count variable to the registers, special registers called special purpose registers called R0. So the value of count will be moved to R0, then increment R0. That means special purpose register, that is R0, will be incremented by one value, and later the R0, the incremented value is there in R0, that will be moved to count variable, right? So this is how you can convert a single instruction like a count plus plus into assembly level language instruction like this, right? So the same similar thing will happen in the case of program 2 also. So how it will happen, let us see. So here, what is the first instruction? Count minus minus means first we will use the mnemonic called MOV, the variable count comma R1. Then the second instruction, that is decrement operator now. So DEC is a mnemonic R1. Third instruction, move MOV R1 comma count. So these are all the three instructions in a second program also. Okay, so now let us take a default value for count variable. Okay, so what is the default value for count variable? So before executing these two programs, we need to know the count value first. So the default value for count variable. So let me consider the count value, default value. So let me take 10 as the default value for count. So let us start our problem now. So in this critical section problem, what will happen? What will happen when a count variable is used in both the programs? When both the programs are executed simultaneously, then what will happen? Let us see. Okay, so previously the count variable value is 10 only, right? Now let us start any of the program first. So first I would like to start program 1 with all these three instructions to be executed. All these three instructions to be executed. So what happened when all these three instructions executed from program 1? So what will be the changes you may observe? Okay, then we will see here. That is, first we try to execute the program 1 with instruction 1, that is move count comma R0. So move count comma R0 means count value will be moved to R0 value. So let us write here. Let me write here, that is R0. R0 value will become 10. Why? Because we have moved count value to R0. Later, what is the second instruction here? Increment R0. That means R0 value will be incremented. What is the incremented value now? That is 11. Okay, and what is the third instruction? All these three instructions need to be executed now. So that is why, what is the third instruction? Move R0 comma count. So let us move this value from R0 value to count. So now count becomes 11. So in this case, you have observed one thing, that is first the count value will be moved to R0, then R0 incremented, and later it will copy to count. So here the count value has updated. The count value is updated to 11. So what about 10? 10 has erased, right? So 10 has erased, then the new updated value is 11. So let me strike this. Value. Okay, 10 has erased. Now let us execute the second program now. So first let me separate this, okay, with a pipe symbol here, that is P2. P2 now will be executed with how many instructions? 1, 2, 3. So all those three instructions. Okay, let us start. Now while executing P2, what will happen? Move count comma R1. So R1 will be having the new value of count value here. That is, what is the updated value here for count? That is 11. And what is the second instruction? Decrement R1. So R1 value will be decremented. So So R1 will be decremented means 10 minus 1, that is 11 minus 1, that is 10 only. Then what is the third instruction here? Move R1 comma count. Okay, so move R1 comma count means count value will become 10 now. Okay, now what is the updated value of count here? That is 10 only. So updated value of count here, that is 10 only. So let me erase 11 to write 10. Okay, so here in this case, this is case 1, this is case 1. Okay, in this case the final result is 10 only. So when you are trying to execute program 1, later program 2, the final result will be 10 only. Okay, then come for the next case. So let us change the order of execution here. Okay, then what is the default value of count? Default value is always 10 only. Okay, let us take the default value as 10 again. Okay, let us start our execution here. Right, that is, let us execute P1 with the instructions 1 and 2, right? So let us execute. So here while executing P1 program 1 with 1 and 2, what will happen? R0 will become 10. Why? Because count value will be copied to, moved to R0. Then R0 will be incremented by 1. Okay, so here we have executed only 1 and 2 instructions. That means one instruction is R0, a second instruction is incrementing R0. So we are not updating R0 value to count. Why? Because we are not executing the third instruction, means so there will be no update in the count variable value. Okay, so let us go for the next program, that is P2. So P2 will start its execution. So let us execute P2 with all these 3 instructions. Okay, what will happen? Let us see. While executing P2, what will happen? What is the first instruction? Move count comma R1. So what is the count variable value? Previously that is 10 only. So that is R1 will become 10. Then what is the second statement? Decrement R1. R1 will become 9. Decrement means 1 will be deducted from that, right? So R1 become 9. Then what is the third statement? Move R1 comma count. So R1 value will be moved to count. Now count will become 9 only. Okay, now count value has updated. Let us show the same update here. So 9 count value become 9 here, right? What about the old value? The old value will be erased, right? So let me erase the old value here. Okay, now so let us continue with our pending instructions. Which instruction pending up to now? The third instruction from P1. So let us separate this by a pipe symbol. So the third instruction, what is the third instruction in P1? That is what is that? Move R0 comma count. So R0 value will be moved to count. So here count value will be updated now. So with the new value, that is R0. So what is the R0 value here? Updated value of R0 here, that is 11. So count becomes 11 now. That means the count value again updated. So what is that new updated value here? That is 11. So then what about 9? It has erased, right? So 9 has erased and the updated value is 11 here. And this is case 2. Right? Now let us see one more case here. Let us change the order of execution. So before going to know about this before going to do that, first let us take the count variable default value, that is 10 only, again 10. Okay, then let us start our execution. So let us start P1 first. Try to execute only 2 statements from P1. Okay, what will happen? Let us see. Here, while executing P1 with both the instruction 1 and 2, what will happen? R0 becomes 10 only. Why? Because it is the default value. Then R0 will be incremented. What is the updated value of R0? 11. So only 2 instructions executed. Third instruction not yet executed. And come for the next. That is, let us execute P1 with 1 and 2 instructions. So what will happen? Let us see. So R1 will become, here R1 will become 10 only. Why? Because count variable value not yet updated. So it is showing the default value as 10 only. So R1 here also become 10 only, and R1 will be incremented in the second statement. So, sorry, decremented in the second statement. That means R1 will become 9. Okay, R1 will become 9. Then we will see. Let us execute the pending instruction in P1. So what is the pending instruction in P1? That is third instruction. So what is the third instruction here? Move R0, count. So let us move the R0, this R0 value to count. So now count becomes R0. So what is the R0 updated value here? 11. So count becomes 11 now. Here the count value is now updated. So what about the old one? It has erased, right? So let us strike the old one here. So the new updated value is 11. Let us complete the execution of P2 with the pending instruction. So what is the pending instruction in P2? That is 3, third instruction. In the third instruction, what is the instruction 3 here? Move R1, count. So count value will become here. Will become R1. What is the updated value of R1 here? That is 9. So count value become 9. Now again the count variable value has changed, updated. So what is that? 9. So what about the previous? Erased, right? So it has updated to 9. Okay. This is case 3. Now let us observe all these 3 cases. So what is the case 1 here? P1 has executed with all these 3 instruction 1, 2, 3. Later P2 started with the 1, 2, 3. And in case 2, P1 has executed with first and second instruction. Later P2 completed with all these 3 instructions. Later P1 completed with its pending instruction 3. What is case 3? In this case 3, P1 executed with 1 and 2. P2 also executed with 1 and 2. So actually here is a mistake. Let me correct this. P2 actually. P2. Okay. Right. So P2 executed with 1 and 2. Then P1 completed its execution with the pending instruction 3, and P2 also completed with the pending instruction 3. So that is case 3. And which value observed in case 1? Which value observed as the final value of count variable? That is 10 here, and in case 2 that is 11 here, and in case 3 that is 9 here. So while you are observing these 3, which is the consistent value finally? Which is the consistent value? Whether after executing both the programs completely, whether 10 is the consistent value or 11 or 9, which is the best result or which is the consistent result, right? So while you are executing the instruction in this order, you got 10. In this order you got 11. In this order you got 9. So which is the consistent value? I don't know. So while any of the 2 programs executed parallelly, here is the problem. The problem is with the end result. So in this situation, the common variable count in both the programs, the common variable count we have used for incrementing in the first program and decrementing in the second program. So the common variable or common set of code. So this is a common set of code in the both the programs, right? So the common set of code in both the programs, we call it as a critical section. We call it as critical section. Let me write here. The common set of code in both the programs is called a critical section, right? So this is the critical section problem. In this critical section problem, what we have observed? We have observed that both the programs are sharing the common data. Both the programs are sharing the common data. That is why the end result will be somewhat confusing. The end result is somewhat confusing. So that is why we call it as the critical section. Okay. Thank you.